Hey, what's up, guys? It's Russell on Curb Appeal. And I know a lot of you guys like me are running these GP Hammerhead surface cleaners. I've got an 18-inch one that I run 4005 tips in. That lets me, after it's split through the bar, it's going to let me run around 24 to 2700 psi, depending on what RPM I want to run my surface cleaner at. I've got it set up so that if I just turn the RPM down just a little bit, I can lower my pressure so I'm not messing up soft concrete. A lot of you guys are having issues with these because they're striping. I put the 40-degree tips in mine, and that eliminated it for a long time. But here lately I've been noticing that after concrete dries, there's some very, very slight differences around the edges of the driveway, kind of where I go a little bit slower and take my time. So I started looking into what's going on with my surface cleaner, trying to fix that. My first thought was I have a clog tip. I took that out, and that's not it. Both my tips are brand new now. So my next step was the bar height. And a lot of you don't realize that these GP Hammerhead surface cleaners, you can adjust the actual bar ride height. So how high it sits within the housing of your surface cleaner. So here in about I would say less than 2 minutes, I'm going to show you how to adjust that and kind of eliminate your striping. All right, so here is my surface cleaner. It's a GP Hammerhead. Like I said, it's an 18-inch. We've got the typical weights, band clamp to it, just like everybody else, because these are extremely light surface cleaners. So if you're running 8 gallons a minute through it, unless you've got some 0.6 or 0.7 tips on this thing, they're going to float a little higher than they should. To do this, this is the only tools that you need. All right, just get you a 3/8 drive ratchet with a 6mm hex head. All right, I don't know if that camera's going to focus on that. Just get you a 6mm hex head and then just a soft mallet. All right. So what I've noticed with mine is I've got the 4004 spray tips. Okay, I don't know if it's going to focus. These are the 4004 spray tips, or 4005s, I'm sorry. Quarter megs, and there's nothing wrong with the actual swivel. The swivel is good. But if you look, my tip is actually riding way below the housing of my surface cleaner. It's actually right down here, blowing against the skirt, almost. It's right down here, and that's way too close to the concrete, even for 40-degree spray tips. All right. Now, I thought my bar was bent, but if you look, just keep that point of reference. My tips are flowing right along this aluminum edging. So my bar isn't bent, all right, but the ride height is way too low. I want to crank that up, get that back up inside the housing. All right, that way it widens my spray out. By the time it gets to the concrete, reduces that pressure a little bit more, so I can let the chemicals do the work and not actually tear up the soft top layer of residential concrete. All right, and so to do this, extremely easy. Look on the top of your surface cleaner. You've got this clamp that's mounted into the housing with these 4 hex head bolts. All right, take your 6mm. I've already loosened mine up. Take your 6mm in there. Just loosen that bolt a couple of times. All that does is clamp down on your actual swivel and your bearings and hold those into your housing. So then, take your soft mallet and just tap right here. Okay? So I've been taking some measurements and readjusting this bar. And as you can see, I'm still riding right along the edge of this aluminum skirt. All right, so I need to kind of knock this back up. I'm going to take mine and put it where this lower cap with these little Phillips head screws. I'm going to knock it where this lower cap is flush with the bottom of this housing plate. Okay. All right, so I've got my bar raised back up. As you can see, I'm no longer right there down along that skirt. I've actually raised it up about a ½ inch to where I'm back up inside the housing with my spray bar. So now the only thing I need to do is make sure that my bar isn't off center. All right, there's 2 ways you can do this. The easiest way is to just pick a point of reference and watch and make sure that that bar, when it comes around on both sides, is in the same place. All right, if your bar is way off, an easy way to adjust it, take you a regular carpentry rafting square, all right, and just place it right there on your bearing. You can make rough adjustments all the way around doing that. But once you get it close to a certain point, that square isn't going to help you anymore. You're going to have to pick a point of reference anyways, and just kind of make sure that your spray tips are in the same exact position. So right there how I've got this point of reference, and they're hitting right there at the edge of that screw. So my bar isn't cocked sideways, or it's not tilted, it's not spraying at an odd angle. Everything is going to be staying level to the concrete. So now all I have to do is come back with my 6mm and tighten this clamp. All right, tighten that down. Don't over torque it to where you're going to strip it out. And get ready to go back to work.